think we've kind of talked a little bit about, this was more in the context of events. We've had a very free-flowing discussion. I see Callista just joined us. Hi, Callista. We have a small but mighty and vocal group. It's been... It is the A-team. I guess for the Callista's purpose, we've had a very good discussion for me. It's been quite informative, to really hear back some of the things as far as how I distilled the priorities, and what we're talking about is they're really looking at us going from just talking about awareness to, what are the ways we are bringing this home, discussing this as commercially viable, making it real, like how are we having more quantifiable data, case studies and things where we're really bringing it to life and doing it in a way that's consistent. I think some of the observations that have been made is, while the new messaging is helpful, that's not necessarily universally being used. So what are ways that we're driving that, as well as really arming folks to have information to go out and evangelize and amplify. So again, it's been a good, wide-ranging discussion. I think there's a lot more we can push into. Some of the other things we just had been talking about was, and a good point was raised because we were talking about the focus on market development. And truth be told, we were talking about it more vertically, but an excellent point was made as to how we consider it more like horizontally as well, like as far as security and with AI. So beyond vertical markets, how are we looking at that horizontally? We had just been talking about developers. We did spend some time talking about the summits, as well as getting some feedback from here. Certainly there's feedback about, a little bit of suboptimal December dates. Can we look at different price points and things? So again, good feedback. I don't think anything that was entirely unexpected. And again, we were just kind of talking about communications. Yeah, no, Phil was asking, sorry, when you were like, wait, I was like, that wasn't the point you made. Sorry, so Phil Dworsky was kind of talking about, as far as being here in the San Jose Convention Center, kind of something of this size, but really looking at, so there were comments just about the time of year, why are we, here in something this big, like looking at the other options. Again, there's nothing that we haven't discussed. And the other thing as well that's come up is kind of the Linux Foundation. So it's good feedback, but I don't think anybody was sitting here saying it's got to be the San Jose Convention Center. No, thank you. That's a good point, Larry. So excellent point. So I did just want to share this as far as that, and I do apologize. We are behind on the elections process. Again, that's just, I think, with the transition in my role. So the intent is that starting next week, we will be asking for nominations for the chair positions. Then we'll have the voting. We had hoped to certainly get it done this year, but we didn't want to do that over to all of you over the holidays. So we'll start voting in January. But the intent would be that we would get chairs on board by, like I said, kind of January 20th is the goal. Maybe that's a little aggressive, but I think as we're talking about, there was a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, so rather start sooner than later. And there's been a lot of really great feedback. I want to thank you all, for those of you who've spoken up. It's valuable. It's not going to fall on deaf ears. Like I said, there's stuff we know, and there's just some things we don't, but you're the ones who are out there. You're the ones who, really are actively talking to customers, and, please just keep those lines of communication open, because we need the input, and like we've talked about, we need to go win-win. We've got to do it together, and unless we're doing it together, it'll be much more challenging if we don't, I guess what I'm trying to say. So what's our time check? Because I know you have the... Is there any other topics that anybody would like to raise? No? So I'm going to give you some time back, because like I said, I think for the standpoint of our poor folks on Zoom, this was not as effective as it could be, but for those of you in the room, it gives us the time to continue to chat. So thank you again for your time. Thank you for coming, and thank you just for your support and your feedback, and please just continue to provide feedback. Larry, I look forward to hearing much more from you. So thank you all. And for those of you who do, if you're online, to reach out to me for those of us who work at RISC-V, our emails are our first name at risc5.org. So don't hesitate to reach out, and I'm sure my inbox will be blowing up, and I look forward to it. So thank you, guys.